Police raid leads to guns, drugs, and even an improvised vehicle in Sonora. Agents of the Navy of Mexico and Municipal Police of VCAM seized a small arsenal, tactical equipment, as well as an improvised armored vehicle known as a Monster in Sonora. According to the official report, the police received an emergency call by an anonymous person where they reported the presence of armed civilians at the home of VCAM, an attached municipality of Guaymas. A joint operation was then carried out at the home in Guaymas where doses of drugs and weapons were seized. The state reported that they caught 3 AK-47s, 2 AR-15s, 15 AK-47 magazines, 5 AR-15 magazines, 2 magazines with cartridges each, and 4 green tactical vests. No arrests were made. However, this is a very interesting case because it's like improvised armored vehicles are usually down south of Mexico, and usually CJNG or Cartel del Noreste has them. Usually CJNG is the one that likes carrying them out the most, and they like doing them attacks with those, So this is very interesting. Is it possible the CJNG is probably moving in and this is one of their cars? Or is Sinaloa cartel doing this all of a sudden, which they don't like doing because they know that those fucking cars are not efficient. I will leave you guys with the short video of the improvised tank that they have. Police officers in Tijuana kidnapped, murdered, and burned a merchant. The victim was identified a month later after his disappearance, although his body was consumed by fire. A couple of police officers from Tijuana kidnapped a merchant who was robbed of more than $40,000 and then murdered him and burned his body in the border city of Baja California. Jose Alberto Cantero Ramirez, a local candy businessman, was arrested at the beginning of last month by Martin Trinidad Martinez and Esteban Heriberto Galaz Gomez, municipal police officers, who stole the amount close to 1 million Mexican pesos and disappeared his victim, about whom nobody had known about for 4 weeks. The Baja California Prosecutor's Office confirmed that local agents arrested the merchant on the night of September 1st when he was driving his private vehicle on the Transpeninsular Highway and September 16th Street in the Libertad neighborhood. Minutes later, Cantero Ramirez left his house in the Nueva Tijuana neighborhood to make a pending business payment, but he didn't reach his destination because he was intercepted. The deceased was intervened by elements of municipal public security without any justification and illegally deprived of his liberty. A surveillance camera captured the exact moment of the kidnapping. The guy was asked to step out his vehicle. He complied, and then he was handcuffed, placed in the back of the agent's car, and then another guy went into his car, and then they drove off with him. According to details revealed by prosecutor Carpio Sanchez, the merchant was murdered the same day he was kidnapped. It took 11 hours for his body to be located, but then it was unknown that it was the victim of the police. The body was found wrapped on fire in the Ruiz Cortines Puriacrats colony near the railway of the Mesa de Otay delegation. According to local reports, the remains were located around 6:52 a.m. on September 2. He was next to the train tracks, and his family wondered what had happened to him. In the meantime, a search was being made for his disappearance. Then it took 29 days for them to identify him. The authorities took genetic samples from his mother and son. The Baja California Prosecutor's Office investigated the case, collected testimonies, and located the security camera in the area where it was shown how the police made the arrest that night. This is how they requested arrest warrants against Trinidad Martinez and Galaz Gonzalez, who had passed their confidence exams and refused to reveal their whereabouts of their victim. And then on September 22, they were arrested in their homes, where family and friends of the merchant were outside of the criminal homes, screaming for justice and telling them this crime was not gonna be unpunished. During the search, they found a firearm, banknotes to different denominations that in total was $45,000. The amount of money they had stolen from Jose Alberto. The alleged perpetrators have already been linked to trial for their probable participation in the crime of enforced disappearance and are currently under detention. The authorities have already promised that this case will not go unpunished. I will leave you guys with the video where they kidnapped this poor man. Lawyer kidnapped in Villamagna. He was the alleged lawyer of Comandante Germán, a member of the Alemán cartel. Apparently there was a shootout that happened in Villamagna after the arrest of Comandante Germán, a member of the Alemán cartel. So the shooting happened, and when the shooting was going on, apparently the lawyer was kidnapped. I don't know who kidnapped them. It doesn't say here. But it could probably be the Alemán cartel that they're mad at their own lawyer and they're like, yo, we need you to get the fuck out. Or it could be another cartel that's like, why are you supporting him? No arrests have been made and he has not been found yet. Let's hope the best for him, but this is the type of things that happen when you get associated in the underworld. Los Zetas Vieja Escuela are mad at CJNG for the recent videos. After the videos of the CJNG in Mezquitic de Carmona and in the capital of San Luis Potosí, the old school Zetas cartel is recorded somewhere in the same state, showing off its own caravan of vehicles used by its members and sending a clear message to the CJNG. All this without any government doing anything about it. At this point, this cartel caravan should be a part of our country's parade. I will leave you guys with the video where they're screaming that these are actual caravans and that they are not bitches like CJNG. ¡Fuera vieja escuela! ¡Woo!
Estas sí son caravanas, pinche bola de culos. No mamadas a la verga. Aquí estamos para el topón. Pura vieja escuela, patriota. Estas sí son caravanas, pinche bola de jotos. ¡Pura vieja escuela!
Mira, mira, mostrado burbuja.
¡Pura vieja escuela!
Two members of the Gente Nueva cartel, a cell of Cartel de Sinaloa, was freed after crashing a plane. This is a case of divine justice. Two crew members of a small plane that crashed yesterday in Guadalupe Calvo were influential figures in the underworld. Ismael Rodriguez and Uriel Heriberto Urias Castro were arrested in February along with Efrem El Maniaco as members of the Salguero Gente Nueva cartel. Both of them were released days later without charges. The small plane in which they were traveling crashed in the San Francisco de los Salguero Rancheria, where the aircraft became entangled in some wires and burned with 3 crew members on board. They had been arrested by the prosecutor's office in Chihuahua for carrying drugs and assault weapons. However, none of these charges matter because they're still out there somewhere in the state of Chihuahua.